Hello, everyone. Welcome to Popcast on the Rocks, episode 187. We're a podcast that talks about pop culture things that interest us. And sometimes there's whiskey. My name is John. I'm joined as always by Andrea. How's it going?
Excellent. I can't wait to talk about our content tonight. Super
Excellent.
excited.
Already excellent. Yep, already the puns.
Excellent.
Yep. And we have Pete back as well. How are you doing tonight?
Fantastic. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it.
Of course. Okay, so today we are going to talk about X-Men 97 and maybe some X-Men just in general as well, or whatever we can get to. But and we'll be spoilery about that. So hopefully you've seen X-Men 97, the Disney Plus series, when we get to that bit. But just before we get there, we're going to talk a little bit about what we've been watching, what else we've been watching. And Andrea, do we have any drink holidays?
We have a bunch of drink holidays.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was like in the document here and not seeing any drink holidays. Like, either we should have a different list. Like
yes.
We were contributing to different pages. Is that what's happening?
Absolutely. So ain't no thing, because I got them all pulled up. And actually today is the very last drinking holiday for June. So it's just fortunate that we picked today to do our podcast.
All right.
But yeah, running it back a little bit to mid-June. June 14th is a double holiday. It's either National Rosé Day, if you're a rosé all day kind of person, or it's Bourbon Day. So,
okay.
You know, kind of different things, kind of different feels, if you will, to the drink holiday. But choose your poison. Then on June 19th, it was Martini Day. On June 20th, my wedding anniversary, I find this very funny. It was Day Drinking Day. It's just like a very random holiday, and you can do whatever you want. There are no laws, just like my marriage. Just kidding. June 21st. June 21st. It was Lambrusco Day. And today, the final drinking holiday of June, it is Sazerac Cocktail Day. So quite the lineup of things.
What is that? From. That sounds like a made-up word, Sazerac.
Sazerac? No, it is not. John's like, no, how dare you insult.
No. Well, is it Klingon whiskey? What are we talking about here?
It's a drink of the South, you know. I think of like
New Orleans
Louisiana.
In particular.
Mm-hmm. And it has absinthe in it. Is one of the things that people are like, oh, it has absinthe.
Yep, absinthe, rye whiskey, simple syrup, bitters, and lemon for garnish.
Goodness.
So
that's like the base
drink.
recipe, and I know you can do a lot of like variations and twists on it.
Yes. Here's our. I don't know how I was contributing to the wrong list, but okay then.
How dark are those sunglasses?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Mm-hmm. They are prohibitive in the peripheral vision. Yes. But, okay. Well, Andrea, are you celebrating any of these things?
I am. I don't know if you can still call it day drinking, even if it's daylight out. So maybe I'm celebrating that, but I'm also celebrating Bourbon Day, and I have a Mandarin bourbon smash cocktail.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
It is good. Delicious.
Yeah, it sounds great. So ingredients, Mandarin.
Yes.
I assume.
Yes.
And
you
oranges.
take a whole Mandarin. You put about a teaspoon of sugar and muddle that together. Then you do about half a shot of lemon juice, Aperol, and 2 ounces of bourbon. Shake that up, pour it out into your glass with ice, and then put some club soda.
Okay. Can I see the drink again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Can we just call it the Sunspot? We call it the Sunspot.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Is that a Transformers reference?
Yeah, I don't know. It needs like some dark spots in there, some cherries or something that
right. Yeah. No, I need a little black ink.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I'd be cool with that. I enjoyed that character, so
very nice.
He's not my faves, but he's up.
Sure. Pete, do you have a drinking vessel that's special tonight or anything?
I'll see if you can. This is from the Wayback Machine, John.
Okay.
It's the yellow soda.
Walking Dead, huh? Nice.
Coral.
Rick, yeah.
But do you remember the story?
No.
This is the glass that Andrea's husband won at a Christmas party, and I stole it from him because I was so disappointed that I did not receive it. And then I held it for ransom. I would taunt him, and I would drink from his glass.
I remember
over Zoom calls, and then I gave it back, and he graciously bought my own. So this is mine, but I thought I would bring it out of the display case.
I love it.
That's great.
And tell the story once again for the masses, for all of our fans out there.
Blast from the past, just like our show tonight.
So I have to assume that was the Walking Dead themed party then.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got that glass because we won best costume.
Okay.
Oh, I was disappointed in that because
I was Lucille.
You were dressed as Lucille. I was like,
yeah.
There's no way. And I was.
Come on, I was so impressive. Chris lifted me and held me like Lucille.
Yeah. There was some, coordination, right? I was at the party where I was dressed up as the American Werewolf in London and might have placed top 3, even though I had an amazing hairy werewolf dickie under my shirt that I was very proud of. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yep. That's been a minute. Okay. Very nice. I like it. Well, I have these, again, I use this occasionally. It doesn't work so well to showcase, but these are the glasses Alan got. And I like them a lot, but the drink isn't anything fancy to see. And it's actually supposed to be, so I'm breaking rules here, Andrea. Firstly, I was contributing to the wrong show notes list. So I was just going out there with whatever I can get. I had no idea if it was like contributing to a bidet or not. And then secondly, this is supposed to be in a shot. The recipe makes 2 shots. So I'm just having it as a drink. Okay. And then thirdly, and most importantly, I'm crossing universes because I'm going to the Batman cocktail book. Really just making a mess of things.
Who is this bad boy John tonight? My goodness.
So I'm making,
like I said, laws don't apply.
That's right. I made the Batarang. So the Batarang is
on X-Men night.
Better be cool.
I know. It's mint leaves, gin, scotch, lemon juice, simple syrup, and orange bitters.
It's gin and scotch?
Yep.
I did not see that coming.
Yep. It describes it here. The Batarang is a non-lethal, multifunctional tool that Batman uses in his crusade for justice. Gotham City bartenders took this as inspiration for a style of shot they secretly send to one another via courier while they are on shift. The receiving party then sends the same drink or a similar one back. Think of it as a liquid high five, a vital drink for Gotham City bartenders to have in their arsenals.
That beverage sounds quite lethal, actually.
Yeah, it does. It does. But I do like the description of a liquid high five. That was pretty
fun. That's good. So, okay. So, cheers. Sagrona.
Cheers.
Carl. Oh, I'll do it. Carl.
Oh, it's good. Yep. It's tasty. I can see that'd be a good go-to shot to make for people. Everybody's like, oh, have Fireball or something, it's like, nah, let's class it up. Batarang.
Yeah. Next party.
Okay, what have we been watching? Pete, anything that's barely been interesting that you've seen television or movie-wise?
Oh,
okay.
how is that?
It's a half-hour comedy.
Yeah.
And every time the episodes end, I'm like, just give me the whole season. I want to watch the whole thing. Let's go. This waiting a week thing is not doing it for me. So I enjoy it. It's an interesting premise. It gets wacky at times. There's really good effects. And I still don't know which way it's going to go. And I think we're 5 or 6 episodes into the season. So,
okay, cool. Yeah, I'd seen that. Seen that around. I even told Ashley about it because she's like, Alexander Skarsgård's like, there is a show on Apple that has
he's the guy. Yeah. So he's a security unit, and he spends all of his free time trying to hack into his governor. That's preventing him from, acting out on his AI impulses. And one day he's like, holy shit, it worked. And so now he doesn't have his governor anymore. And then the story takes off from there.
Mayhem.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. Well, maybe, that would be fun to try. Apple's got a lot of shows that I just, I don't know.
I never quite get around to.
Everybody says they're good, and yeah.
Yeah, we've been really spotty about getting there. I mean, we've done a few things, but yeah.
Yeah, Slow Horses we talked about. Severance, obviously.
Severance, yeah, of course.
Severance, fantastic.
We watched Physical. That was really good.
Oh,
the first season. Yeah, the first season.
Yeah, we haven't done the second, so yeah. Can't say about the whole thing. First season was great.
We finished the series.
Okay.
And then several months later, Steph's like, is there another episode of Physical? I'm like, no, it ended. She's like, that was the end? Like, yeah. So season 1, great. And then okay after that.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah. I like that Apple sticks with their things, even if the first season doesn't blow up the world, they, give it a couple more seasons or something like that. Yeah.
They give it another shot.
So, okay. Well, they're very good. That's awesome. Andrea, how about you?
Yeah, I am apparently about movies right now because I watched a bunch and most of them starring Aaron Taylor Johnson. So I'm gearing up for 28 years later. Yeah. So I watched, Netflix decided that I needed to be recommended Kraven the Hunter. Oh. I was like, what the hell? Let's watch it. Never seen it. And I know it got like kind of mixed reviews. So I decided to give it a watch.
That's putting it kindly.
Yeah. It has so many glimmers of potential. Yeah. And Aaron Taylor Johnson is way too good for that movie. Like the writing of that movie, like he's a great character. And there are moments when you're just like, almost. And then, it really like doesn't live up to its potential. Ariana DeBose also is too good for that movie. She is a fantastic actress. She's like his kind of like lawyer sidekick, maybe love interest. She's too good for that movie. Russell Crowe is not too good for that movie. He was terrible.
Oh, I didn't know he was in it.
Awful. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
He's his father. He's his father. Woof. Bad. One of his very, very worst performances, I would say.
Wow. Huh. Okay.
So yeah.
And for him, it's if he's only okay, then you think it's really, really bad. But just kind of a tired character, trope.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, he's the over.
He has zero to work with.
Father.
Yeah, he has zero to work with, but he doesn't do anything with the very, very little crumbs he's given either. So just poor all around. But there's some definitely cool effects, and like I said, some glimmers of where they could have had it. But yeah, it just really falls flat.
Like glimmers in like the sheen of light off of Aaron Taylor Johnson's abs. Is that what?
Right? Is that the sweat? Yeah. As he runs and rolls over and falls and gets up shirtless. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes. Oh no.
Yeah. The Rhino was terrible in that movie. So that's
bad.
twice they've failed at trying to bring the Rhino to the big screen. And then
Doesn't seem like one that would work.
come on, it can. If they can make the Hulk, they can make Rhino.
Again, it almost works until he goes like full Rhino, and then it's terrible.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like the moments where it's like halfway and he's trying to prevent that transformation, it's really cool. They just don't have the budget to have him go all the way and look good at all.
I guess. I mean, to be fair, like it took them how many times to get Ben Grimm the Thing right? And I haven't seen the new movie, obviously, but in the previews, like that's what he's supposed to look like.
He looks right. Yeah, he looks
yes.
right. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yes.
He looks comic book accurate, and that's what I want. And the Rhino has yet to look comic book accurate.
Super fair.
Also in the Kraven, his brother is the Chameleon. And how many times do you get to see the Chameleon? For how long? Bloop, like that.
Yeah.
He could have been the Chameleon all along. And
I was gonna say it was such a good like twist and like in an obvious way. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it could have been done way earlier. Like there was a whole movie drug out, and like it could have been super cool. But no.
Yeah.
Wasted. Just wanted more.
And yeah, I don't know if they were trying to set up for like multiples.
Yeah.
So like thinking like another, but like the first movie is too bad for that.
We gotta nail the first one. That's the focus on one at a time. That's
exactly.
But it was Sony's attempt to like try to make that Sinister Six movie, and they've all lost so much money.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe Venom 1 and 2, but
yeah.
Oh yeah, those made money. The Venom movies made money, which always was like I haven't seen any of them. It always kind of shocked me. They didn't look good to me, but
Venom 1 was mediocre at best.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was fine.
And it's so hard to do a Venom movie without Spider-Man. Like he doesn't look right, but there's no reason to have the white spider across his chest.
I never liked the good guy Venom or sort of anti-hero Venom. I never liked that. Venom's a bad guy. And so I just didn't think this take was necessary of kind of buddy cop or something. We're pals. Whatever. You know, it's
not great.
Something I watched that was great with Aaron Taylor Johnson, Bullet Train.
Yeah.
Okay. You hadn't seen that one before? Oh, you rewatched?
No, I rewatched it. Because we covered it, but Chris hadn't seen it when we covered it, so I rewatched it because Netflix was also like, "You might like Bullet Train." And I was like, "I would."
You already know Netflix. I saw it. It was great.
I was like, I'll take some like way better fare after watching Kraven the Hunter after you made me suffer through that. So I watched Bullet Train. I watched Fall Guy, which was absolutely excellent. Also with Aaron Taylor Johnson, which I did not know. Yeah, he's like the main star that.
He's Ryan Gosling body doubles for him, stunt double.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yep. So, plus Hannah Waddingham is in that, and she's the agent. And she's, oh gosh, she's so good. She's so like slimy and just twisty.
Yep. I like that movie.
Yeah.
What was the other one? The Gorge? Did you watch that with him in it?
No, I haven't watched that.
Is that what it's called?
That's not Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's in that too?
Yeah.
He's not the main. Because the main guy is the kid from Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, am I completely wrong? Then
that's the main guy. Miles Teller.
Yeah, Miles Teller.
It was Miles Teller in the Gorge.
Yeah.
The Gorge. I
Which
don't
is
know
another
what I
Apple
call it.
show that I needed, or movie I wanted to watch. And yeah, I remember you
It's
saying that.
Oh,
a decent
I do. Okay.
shooting and punching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, they're the same guy. They're the exact same guy.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely not, because only one of them's in the running right now.
Fine. My mistake.
Okay,
Yeah, I've wanted to see Fall Guy.
Sorry
I mean,
to
I've
Miles
wanted to see.
Teller and Aaron Taylor-Joy Johnson. Yeah, Anya Taylor, that other guy.
He's a man.
The guy
woman
with 3
now.
names. We're best friends. Totally know who he is.
Yeah, I've wanted to see Fall Guy just because I've heard people say it's really good, but it just didn't interest me. But yeah,
it's solid. I mean, you don't have to turn on a big chunk of your thinking brain, but it is a very solid movie.
Okay.
Something you definitely don't need to turn on your thinking brain for is Twisters, which I also watched for funsies.
I heard people like that too.
That is good, but yeah, I mean, you don't have to turn on your thinking brain. It's pretty straightforward. You go chase Twisters, you get in them, you try to survive.
No, this tornado has sharks in it. Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that is part of it. Where Glenn Powell's character is a tornado wrangler, and he's like, "I'm going to shoot rockets up this tornado because my YouTube followers told me to," and like, oh Jesus. And it's kind of dumb, but it's kind of like funny too. So
sure,
yeah. So it was good. It was good entertainment. It was half background, half TV, half like I was entertained. So
okay,
nothing bad.
Nice.
And then moved incrementally forward, watched an episode of Andor, and also watched the first episode of season 3 of The Gilded Age because I'm a nerd and I love historical fiction. I love Julian Fellows, who created Downton Abbey, and this is his like American version, and it's fantastic.
Okay. Oh, yeah, premiere episode of season 3, huh? Okay.
Indeed.
So one more episode of Andor. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't approve of this rate of progress, but you know.
I know, but I have to wait for Chris, and it's very difficult.
Yeah.
It's much easier to watch all these movies on my own than it is to wrangle.
I thought there were no rules in your marriage.
Yeah.
Only rules about television, everything else.
Yeah. Those are sacred.
Mm-hmm. Well, nice. We'll get there.
We'll get there. I swear.
Yep. Well, while we were away, it was Friday the 13th. So I watched Friday the 13th.
Very nice.
And
can you be more specific?
The OG.
The first one. Mm-hmm. 1980.
Right. Which I can see here from your notes. That's why.
Yeah.
Since somebody finally caught up to the right page.
I've never seen the whole thing beginning to end. So
really?
Now I have, and we're going to be going to Universal later in the year, and Halloween Horror Nights will be going, and this is one of the houses.
Fun.
So
that's really cool.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's going to be awesome.
Have you seen Friday the 13th Part 2?
No. This is. I think this is the only. I don't think I've ever seen any Friday the 13th that to my memory.
Really?
Yeah. Like if I have, it was like.
Does your wife know this?
Pieces. Yeah. I think so. So, which ones would you recommend I watch?
The first 3. Okay. It's the evolution of Jason.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I still believe that if it wasn't for the final scene of the first movie, there wouldn't be a franchise.
Okay,
That final scene made the whole movie, got everybody talking, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then second one is the first appearance of a fully grown Jason, and he's running around in the pillowcase, and that is really fucking creepy. So that's cool to see. And when you said that they're going to have a Friday the 13th house, there's some stuff going on in the second movie that I would love to see in that house. So that's why I asked.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Well, I'll try to make sure I get to that one anyways.
Yeah, the hockey mask doesn't show up until the third movie.
Okay. Yeah, it's crazy. It's not what I expected from the first one. And you know, Ashley and I were both like, because she didn't remember it well either. Then it was like, just drag her. Just what are you doing? You know, just drag the old hag. You know, she's so effective for a while, and then in the open, when she's known, it's just like, take her out. So, yeah. But it was a good time. I liked it.
I heard a legend about the reason why they got Jason's hockey mask. On the third movie, they were filming outdoors and they had to white balance the camera, and they were looking for anything they could use, sheet of paper that was white, and they didn't have it. And the guy said, "Oh, I got a hockey mask in my back of my car." I'm like, "Well, let's use it." And they go, "How would this look?" I don't know if that's exactly what happened. I might be misremembering it, but I thought there was the color balancing of the camera on a hockey mask, and then like, let's run with it. I mean,
that sounds cool.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case.
Yeah.
Let's just say it is.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes like freak accidents turn out to be the coolest, you know?
Yeah.
Just like random stuff that you're like, we didn't really mean to do this, but what the hell?
The William Shatner mask for Halloween, turn it inside out and spray paint it, or they just spray paint it? I think they just spray painted it.
I think they just spray painted it.
Yeah. I hadn't heard that either. Wow. Okay. Yeah. That's fun.
That one.
Yeah. The whole thing was they were going to have Michael Myers either as like a crazy evil clown or something else, but they didn't know what else. So the prop guy went down, and I think it was like after Halloween sale, not paying full price for these props, and he found a William Shatner mask and spray painted the face white, and that was just something about it. Just the emotionless,
nothing.
Like this works.
Cool. That's fun.
I mean, now the franchise was lost or launched.
Okay. Oh, slip of the tongue.
I mean,
that's
I mean, it's been lost, but not at the beginning.
And it comes back like Michael Myers comes back from the
like
dead.
a serial killer.
Yeah, it's great movie, okay movie. The third movie was really good. It just shouldn't have been called Halloween. And then the Pink Panther trilogy. Because I read online that it's the same three subtitles, like The Pink Panther Strikes Back, The Return of the Pink Panther, and it's the same thing as the Return of Michael Myers.
That's funny.
Michael Myers in the Pink Diamond or whatever, but
the Pink Diamond.
The Curse of Michael Myers. That's what it is.
I was gonna say it's a Nancy Drew book or something.
Right, right.
Very nice. Well, sticking on the horror theme, in preparation for 28 Years Later, I watched 28 Weeks Later. I'd not seen it maybe since the theater. I don't know. You know, it's a 2007 film, and I remember going to that myself, and liked it a lot. And it was after that I ended up watching 28 Days Later, like that a lot as well. But I've seen that a couple times now, and I just didn't remember years later or weeks later much. So I didn't remember the ending. A lot of the pieces I ended up recalling as it went. But
did you remember the opening?
No. I did not. I mean, I remember the kind of drone at the time, probably helicopter shot over, he's running. I remember that, but I don't remember the abandoning like that.
The kids or the wife. Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Ugh. Brutal.
So a lot of big stars in there. Idris Elba. I didn't know who that was at the time.
Yeah.
He's in there.
Renner. Renner was in there.
Yep. Yeah. So, and of course, Rose Byrne. So but yeah, I like it. It holds up to the, I thought about it. I didn't remember the year it came out. But I was like, this has a Bourne supremacy kind of feel to it, like the color and the camera and sort of thing. And then this came out after those, and it sort of makes sense for the create the frantic nature sort of thing. Yeah, but it was good. I enjoyed it, and then went to 28 years later. So I should.
Oh, you saw it already?
A different word. The 28 years later. The third one here, and I did see
Just
it.
give us like thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay. Well, let's. Okay. Ultimately, thumbs up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Worth a look-see?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you like the first two, you should see this one.
Okay.
That's so.
I did not like the first one.
More.
I did like the second one.
Okay.
Interesting.
So
see, I'm in that camp too, where I like the first one, but I like the second one more. And I think that's uncommon. And most people are like, well, I really like the first one, and the second one, not as much.
I don't remember.
I still can't get over the ninja pill.
The ninja
I don't remember
pill.
I don't know what that is, and I don't remember how I feel about the first one.
Ninja pill is my description of any movie where the guy is a complete wimp through the whole movie until they steal his woman, and then he's like Popeye, and he takes spinach, and now this complete wimp takes out a Green Beret commando unit who had previously demonstrated their ability to bullseye everything they shot at, but now that he is scorned and trying to save his woman, they are stormtrooper accurate. And he's able to kill them all with his lover's rage.
Okay.
It's like he popped a ninja pill and suddenly becomes a master of stealth and is remorseless in his killing.
Okay.
Gotcha.
No,
fair.
Not buying it.
I'll have to rewatch that one.
Yeah, I don't remember it very well.
Just remember the doctor being in it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Eccleston. But
yeah.
No, the new 28 years later, it's supposedly all shot on iPhones. I wanted to see if I noticed that or whatever, but I guess it keeps it tonally feels like the others then, I think, because of it, possibly. But it's well acted. It's not too long. It really sets up some kind of lore almost, or like provides questions, because this is supposed to be a trilogy now, if this does well. So
oh no, we're gonna go centuries. What's
I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do the jump
28 decades later.
If I was guessing, they're not gonna do the same kind of jump. But yeah, I love everybody's take on what would happen. I love that these zombies are different too, that they're not dead, they're infected, they have the rage virus. So they have to breathe, they have to eat, those sorts of things. They can't just sustain themselves forever. They're not lusting for brains, they're lusting for violence. Just, so yeah, I like that. The most terrifying zombies. Fast, little bit of thought process left there. Yeah. So okay, that's pretty much been my week. A couple other things, but we'll get on to the main event here.
The meat.
Yeah, X-Men. So let Alan know. I'll type it in here too in case he's around. That's what we're gonna say. Spoilers, and we need slides. Let's talk about where you guys come into X-Men before we jump into the show. Like, Pete, what's your history with X-Men? Have you seen the previous cartoon, the original? Comes before this, all that sort of thing?
So I read Marvel Comics as a kid growing up. Watched the Marvel cartoons, the Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends. Even before that, they had some maybe some Avengers and other really bad animation. So when X-Men the Animated Series came out, I thought I was in college. Like I should have outgrown it by then, I felt. And it was so good. I mean, it was on Fox, animated for kids, right? Mm-hmm. So you couldn't have the violence, and it was very cheaply made. Mm-hmm. But they dove into the stories and they did them justice to the best of their ability, given all the constraints financially and being, G-rated. And I was hooked. It was must-see TV to the point where my girlfriend at the time was watching it with me, and she got into it, and she had zero interest in anything comic book or superhero, and then let alone watching cartoons. But she really dug Rogue's voice, and they had really good stories. So, big fan of that. And then when the movies came out, saw them in the theater, except for maybe the Wolverine. And when Disney Plus came along, one of the selling points is you can watch X-Men the Animated Series anytime you want. And I'm like, for $7 a month or $13 a month or whatever the introductory price was, $70 a year, whatever it was. I was like, and I can watch X-Men whenever I want, even though I'm a father of 3. That still had some appeal to me. Maybe I could watch it with my girls. They watched it a little bit. So when X-Men 97 was announced, I quickly rewatched like the last 3 seasons, I think, just to like get familiar, reacquaint myself with it. Because I think that on Fox, it got switched around a lot, where it was like a 3:00 afternoon, maybe Monday through Friday, they would show it, or once a week. And then it was switched to Saturdays, and then it was all over the place, and you couldn't keep up with it. So I think I missed several episodes. So I wanted to go back and watch it. And then 97 comes along and picks up where the original series left off, and stunned, John. I felt like it had matured with me, and I thought the original series was hard hitting. Maybe hard hitting is an exaggeration, but this one just took my breath away. Like every episode, I'm like, are you kidding me? I mean, the positives, like showcasing several X-Men characters in ways that they were never showcased before. Like the opening episode, just showing exactly.
Oh, I can't hear you now, Mike. What happened here? Can you hear him? Is that me?
No, I can hear you, but you're really distant.
He's just getting to.
Yeah, just talking about Cyclops.
Cyclops. All right. Well,
there you're back. You're back.
I had to borrow my hearing aid from my production assistant. She was listening in over there in the wings, having fun. So, but just showcasing what Cyclops could do. He was a guy who, before, he would just shoot his optic blasts, and it seemed like it was like laser beam, but no, it's kinetic force. So showing what it could do, it's like moving him around, and he's showcasing his martial arts skills. And then the plane blows up, and everybody's like, how are we going to do this? And they react calmly, and everybody gets someone who can help them that can fly. And Cyclops is like, I can take care of myself. And he apparently has like the strongest neck, but he's got the strongest neck muscles because he has this blast, and it doesn't like snap his head around. He's like, no, I can control my rate of descent with my optic blast. So I don't know if it's practical, but it worked, and it looked really damn cool. And yeah, superhero landing. So I loved that. And I loved that they continued to go back to the source material, and they didn't shy away from some tough events. So what the good things they showed off, the powers, like Nightcrawler, amazing to see him in action. But then, geez, with Genosha, I can't believe they did that.
All right, very good. Yes, I want to get into a lot of that. But Andrea, first, your history a bit with X-Men.
Yeah, I was a large cartoon watcher as a kid, like, middle school into high school, and would race home for afternoon cartoons and would get up and just like devote a Saturday morning to cartoons, and that's where I got introduced to a lot of things. But namely X-Men, absolute favorite of every cartoon. I would sacrifice every other chance to watch a cartoon for X-Men. I just thought it was amazing. I had no previous knowledge of any of the characters, the stories, nothing. I hadn't read comics. I had no context. But luckily fell in at the very first episode and then just was absolutely hooked. I loved the stories. I loved the characters. And since then, I mean, I've read some comics, but I haven't delved too deeply into the comic book lore. I love the original show so much. That's just kind of always like been where my heart is, in those depictions of the characters. Watched the movies and have been, surprised and disappointed at things that have happened in the, live action universe. Some characters I think are spot on. Some movies are spot on, and then some
they're hit and miss for sure.
Tough to watch. Some are really tough to watch. So yeah, so there's kind of been an up and down relationship with X-Men for a while, and then I was really excited to see X-Men 97 announced and just like devoured the whole thing immediately. Just fell in love with everything. Well, almost everything, because there's one major event in here that just like devastated my heart and soul. And John knows it. John knows exactly which one I'm
sure, yeah.
But yeah. No, I agree, Pete. Like I couldn't believe like the emotional range of this storytelling. Everything, so many pieces fit together so well, from the like highs of incredible battles, just seeing like the characters represented the way that, they were as of yore in my memory. But then, yeah, to like these crushing emotional lows where you're just devastated by the storytelling, but in a really great way as an audience, where you just feel like, wow, it's amazing that this can affect me so much. So I have a couple of little nitpicks with the show, but I think overall, like A+ storytelling.
Nice. Yeah, this is X-Men was actually the first thing that Andrew and I connected over. Like when I first met you, yeah, I don't know how X-Men and Gambit came up, but yeah. I always remember that. But yeah,
Rogue and Gambit were always my favorite.
X-Men. Yeah, I mean, understandable. It's a lot of people's favorite. X-Men for me was like my main comic book. I have a couple long boxes full of X-Men comics. My first comic that I can remember ever having is an X-Men comic. I'm sure I brought it out on the podcast before. It's like torn to shreds for me reading it so many times. But that art style, those characters, particularly of the late 80s, early 90s, really like cemented my taste in comic book art and storytelling, and the drama that X-Men had over things that were less interesting to me, like Avengers or JLA or something like that. So and then when the movies came along, it's just excited that that they were doing some movies, and like you say, hit and miss. And the cartoon, everybody gives Batman the animated series. They're like, oh, when was peak human civilization? Batman the animated series. But
to be fair, that is really good.
It's really good,
Yeah,
but X-Men gets
good.
forgotten.
It is really good. Yes.
I think X-Men gets forgotten
overlooked unfairly.
I think for a couple reasons. One, because Marvel, once they started having success with their own movies, they tried kind of burying X-Men. Like X-Men, people forget that like the biggest superhero properties, it was like Spider-Man, X-Men, Batman, Superman. Like that was it. Like Wolverine was right up there with all the rest. And then when Marvel's like, hey, we can, put out Iron Man, we can do all this stuff, but we don't have the rights to the X-Men. Well, to hell with that. And so we kind of got years of wasted time, in X-Men land or whatever. And the cartoon,
there was a mandate. They wouldn't invest in no new characters with the X-Men. Because the reasoning was, why would we develop a new character in a property we don't own, so we couldn't capitalize on the success of, say, a Deadpool if he the movie rights to that character belonged to another company. Yeah. So any new characters had to go to properties that were owned by the MCU.
Yep. The thing is, the properties were still owned by Marvel, just not the movie rights.
Right. Well, why would they? If you could make $1 billion film, right?
That's a sticky wicket. Like, I get their logic there. Do you know what I mean? Like, am I disappointed? Yes, but like logically, I understand why this wasn't like a prime place for development and where they weren't going to throw their money.
It's just like one of those things that they'd fostered, maybe even license outs to anime companies or whatever, like rode that train and got like those things can be more popular, and the toys they sell off of that can be more popular than some movie where they mess around with the characters a whole bunch and do something that is maybe good and maybe awful. Yes, I understand their reasoning. I just like they're missing the point here when you could have great comic books, great cartoons, great video games. There's your biggest thing right there. And then make toys and merch and posters and party things and all this stuff for that. We just went to a friend's kid's birthday party that was for the little Spider-Man cartoon, whatever, on Disney Plus. They have no context for any of their stuff, but that's, and now our kids love that too, They're web shooting all over the place. There's no, so that's money being made off this, not off the other thing, and so just, I don't know. It's unfortunate. They did the same thing to Fantastic Four. Then they get Fantastic Four rights back, and then now we can do stuff with the comic book again and all that sort of thing. So, I get it. It's just too bad. And my point being, with X-Men the animated series before was, I think it gets overlooked because the animation is not good. Like you say, with the constraints they had, the stories are good. The character design is good. They went off of the comic books. All that stuff is great. It just doesn't look as pretty as the Batman the animated series. It doesn't move as well, And
they clearly have to save their money for the big moments. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like the everyday, run of the mill villain fighting episodes aren't like you said, aren't as pretty. But when you save up your money for like Phoenix and stuff like that, like that's what you have to do.
Yeah, they had big problems getting that first season made with the animation company.
Yep.
It was part of the reason why it took a while for it to take off, is because they showed the first episode, and then I think it was like weeks or maybe months later before they could show the next 2 or 3 episodes, because there were so many delays. The other thing about, and I'm old enough to remember this, the X-Men cartoons were after school, whereas Batman was prime time. It was on a Monday night, Sunday night, or whatever. So it was supposed to be not just for kids.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Okay.
And then it quickly went to, I guess more kids are watching this than adults. So then it did go to Saturdays and, weekdays after school.
Sure. So. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Well, anyways, and I was behind, you guys watched this a long time ago when it came out, X-Men 97, and this gone down this whole big rabbit hole again since getting Disney Plus for Daredevil. And this has been the best thing Marvel's made since I'm not sure when. Like, I mean, and I'm biased because I love X-Men, but this is absolutely what I want to see. I'm all over this. If they were just keep going here and I never had to see another X-Men live action, I'd be perfectly happy with it. This is I'm good with this. And it was just a really solid season. 10 episodes. We covered a lot of territory. We covered a lot of different X-Men. They didn't do the thing like the X-Men movies ended up evolving into this, like, well, Wolverine's a popular one, so he's got to be the main character. And then, oh, well, like, we're having this big actress play Mystique, so now Mystique has to be like this main character.
Right.
And just like, where are we going here? This is very strange. And so they didn't have any of those sort of fall into those temptations of, well, here's this fan favorite, so we got to give them a ton of screen time or whatever. In fact, we take, a fan favorite, spoilers, we hit Andrea's moment, and we kill him.
Son of a bitch.
So,
it hurt me so bad. It hurt me so bad.
Yeah.
I knew the second it was a double murder. So, spoiler again, Magneto also dies in this scene where Gambit dies. I knew one of them was going to come back. I knew it. And I was like, it's going to be the wrong one. And it was. It was.
It was so well done. Like, so the idea that, like,
I mean, it's absolutely soul crushing and beautiful and awful. But yeah, no, wrong person.
The biggest moment is like, poor little Leech, the Murloc Leech, says that Magneto tells him, I'm not going to have to be scared anymore. And the poor kid is clinging on to Magneto as he's like holding back the blasts and makes eye contact with Rogue for one more time. And then, holy shit. So good. So good.
And then we get to see Rogue Unleashed. Oh, never got to see her fully manifest her powers on screen like that. So that was awesome to see.
And what fun to have her do that, not only against
Captain America.
Exactly. Like they did cameos in a really great way throughout.
Yeah.
Like there was a lot of sprinkling of other MCU. I mean, General Ross, Captain America, Iron Man was in the Situation Room as they're watching this like asteroid blow up at the end. Asteroid M, yeah. So I mean, so many great like nods and references to other aspects, but nothing that like took over and nothing that was obnoxious.
Yeah. A cartoon like this, I think a fun place to have a lot of these little cameos. And it made sense. You're on Genosha. It makes sense. You'd see mutants going by and some of that. Oh, look at Tim. Oh, there's the Blob. It's like all kinds of people intermixed. Cool. They add some of the new ones in there. They got magic and armor and whatever, it's just
Hellfire Club hanging out with the Morlocks. What's going on?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I didn't feel like any of that's right. I don't think it was good. That was gratuitous. It made sense. It makes.
It was great fan service. Loved it.
Yeah.
When we get and when in the end when we get where they're showing Daredevil and like Cloak and Dagger and some of that. It's one of those things where are these other people? So you have this big event going on. Makes sense to show them dealing with something here and there.
Right. So. But like. The restraint was done well. Like, Captain America shows up and Rogue's like, tell me what you know. And he's like, but my hands are tied. So it's like, okay, that's why he's not in this event. Or like, like I said, Iron Man just watching in the Situation Room, like being like, oh my God, like we did the thing and now I'm watching the fallout. Like, yes, I am here. And also yet I am not, this is why I'm not involved directly.
Yep.
Because I feel like it always begs the question when you watch movies or TV shows where like multiple superheroes are intertwined. You're always like, but where's the other guy?
Yep.
Like where are these people? Or like using Morph to showcase even more of like the X-Men, well-known and lesser known, plus also at the end the Hulk. Super
God, how good was that?
Mr. Fantastic.
Yep. Yeah, Morph was used great.
Yes, so well done.
It kept tricking me though, because for like a quarter second, several times you'd be like, "Wait, where'd you get?" Oh, it's Morph. That's like,
yes, like that's great.
But that's like that's why it's so well done, because they did it so flawlessly that you were like, "What? Oh, Morph. Okay."
I loved it. Like they're falling out of the airplane. It's like, I'm just going to turn into Angel. I'm like, yes, that's exactly what he's going to do.
Exactly. And he's done it because like. This has all been practiced before. Everybody's so like calm. They're like, we do this, assume the positions, everybody's right. Everybody's like all up, got their, hey, this is my buddy. I'm the wings. You're the guy I catch or whatever. So yeah.
See, and this has so much more, we're talking about how they got to showcase a lot of different characters in different ways, really show their powers and fun stuff that is done naturally, unlike something like Jujutsu Kaisen season 2, where I complain about all the time ad nauseum, where it's just like throwing just excuses to throw people in combat together and stuff like that. This all made sense. I'd never really seen Mr. Sinister fight. Like, he's always in the shadows, he's plotting, he's cool, he's creepy, but never actually do combat. It's like, yes, that's great. That was really cool. The drama with like Madeline Pryor, like reading that in the comics and some of that and knowing that stuff is cool, but like seeing that happen and how that would like they dealt with the drama and the issues of all the different or a couple different like story arcs and things really well. So like Jean Grey being replaced, not knowing when, feeling like having the memory that she was there but wasn't. It was Madeline. That stuff is all that was handled really well, and that's difficult.
Yeah, and then finding a place for Madeline that made sense, where she was always going to leave because she was looking to leave, so it didn't feel like Scott really had to make a choice. Like there were very clear motivations. She was like a separate person with her own desires, and she's like, well, now that I know I'm like a fully separate person, I can go do this thing. But she ended up on Genosha, which made a lot of sense for her. And she even got to a place where she could make jokes about being like the extra Jean, like it just everything was just so well thought out. And then obviously when the attack on Genosha happened, emotionally devastating, because we had spent time with her and we, both knew her as like this person, but also, Cable's mother, who had already gone through something devastating and having to give him up.
Yeah.
Only to be reunited and torn apart. Like, so many layers of devastation at Genosha.
And the fun little like thing we get with that I assume we'll get to more is Cable's like, I'm thinking there's like fixed moments in time, basically like a Doctor Who kind of thing, or where I keep trying to change something and it won't work. I keep getting pulled out to the last second and all that sort of weird stuff. So that's cool too. I don't know.
Yeah. For sure.
Andrew, what were your gripes? You said you had a couple little something.
Oh yeah, I mean,
the buzzkill.
they were really, I mean, overall they were small things. Like sometimes, Magneto would talk about himself in the third person, and he repeated the phrase, I don't know how many times throughout the season. He'd be like, "You've surprised the master of magnetism," or "The master of magnetism does." I was like, "Could you just like stop?" Like,
I don't remember that.
Oh my god!
The master of magnetism will do what the master of magnetism wants. Love it.
Yeah, that's true.
It was just so like wild to me. I was like, please stop saying this about yourself.
He used to do that when he was the prime bad guy in the comics, though, that he would talk about himself.
I know, but it was just one time too many in a short season. It was just really odd to hear aloud. And he would say it in like very odd situations. So I was like, please don't do that. I really need you to not do that. I did have like a hard time with Rogue's kind of brief dalliance with Eric.
The love triangle.
I knew where it was coming from, and I mean,
your emotions cloud your judgment, Andrea.
I know, but like, I did have a hard time with it, just because I knew like how much it would hurt Gambit, and it was so right out there for like everyone to see, and it was just like a little odd to know that she like loved Gambit, and then also was like, maybe I'll be a queen and I'll like dance super sexy and make out with Magneto right in front of you. Like that felt a little weird. Do you know what I mean? Like it felt little in your face for someone she cares about. So did I understand the push and pull? Yes. Did I understand like the draw to like, lead into a new future, and her like very full, I don't know, like full cup and like, kind of joy and exaltation in the idea of Genosha, for sure. That scene just felt really weird.
Okay. Sure. It's fair. Yeah, with Magneto, I know we don't have too much time here left, but whatever we can squeeze in. Magneto, he that's a difficult thing always to balance that he's your enemy, he's your friend, like, and I think they did that pretty well. Like, the X-Men were like upset, how can we possibly trust you, this sort of thing. But that's been an interesting element to Magneto always, is that he's not just a straight up evil dude. He has his own logic and how he gets into where he does, and his relationship with Charles is always good. And I thought that was pretty good. And like if you're watching this scene here, where he's like he's basically at sort of trial, and he has the opportunity he sort of takes the time to like, look, I could just crush you right now, but I'm not going to. Like, here's my, I liked the moments. They didn't shy away from, again, Magneto's power and like how incredibly OP he is. And, it trying to make him give I'm
sorry, what is he?
Huh?
The Master of Magnetism.
Oh, the Master of Magnetism. Yeah.
You will refer to the Master of Magnetism as the Master of Magnetism.
He's not overpowered, John. He is the Master of Magnetism.
Yeah. I don't know. It was good. He gave a full 100% effort go into trying, Charles's vision. And I like seeing Charles there with Elandra, and then he's like kind of getting pushed around, and then he's finally like, all right, class is in session. I kind of I said something audible at that. I'm like, that's right, you put these guys in their place.
Yes.
So that was fun. So when they get to see Gladiator, they just let him loose a little bit. That was good. Yeah, I don't know. I really just don't have complaints. I just solid all the way around. Good voice cast. It was a little like, I have the voices of some other people from the original series in my head, so it's hard to.
It's close. It's not identical, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
They
did bring a couple people in, but I mean, you can't score 100 on that. So, but yeah, it was close.
Apparently, the voice actor for Cable was the original voice actor for Gambit.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I didn't hear that at all. That's what Ashley said when she was looking it up, because she was like looking at some different voices, who was what. But yeah, So, well, Pete, did you have any complaints, any issues?
I just the Madeline Pryor, I wasn't a big fan in the comic books, and they did it justice in this, but I'm like, well, I wasn't a favorite of that. I thought it was kind of wonky. I wish they would have set up why she was named the Goblin Queen. It just seemed like out of nowhere, you will call me the Goblin Queen. Like, why are we doing that? The sidestep with Storm and the Owl Demon was kind of a curveball, but
it was a curveball, but it looked cool.
Looked cool, yeah. But again, like Andrea said, nitpicking, loved it. When I found out I was going to be on this podcast, rewatched it, loved it just the same. What I don't know is if Morph is a shape changer, or if when he becomes the Hulk, he has the Hulk strength. When he becomes Psylocke, suddenly he gets swords out of nowhere. When he becomes Colossus, he's organic steel. So that, talk about overpowered, holy smokes.
The only way I know that is because they say that in like those little character profiles they do at the end credits. And they say that specifically, and I just rewatched that.
Well, but say like they gain their abilities is like something physical abilities. So he presumably couldn't become Professor Xavier and then go into your mind.
Ooh, I'd have to look at again the way the title card is worded, because it says he gains their physical form and abilities.
Fortunately, we have Alan here, and he's going to
attributes.
Figure it out in post production.
Yeah, I've been meaning to like read. I want to read because Ashley and I were talking about that a lot too. I just haven't looked it up yet because I have to say I've really never read an X-Men comic with Morph in it that I can recall. Just was not.
He was more like Mystique, based on my recollections. He never got powers, so that's when. It made sense to me that if you become a guy with wings like Angel, then you should have the ability to fly. I go, I can go that far with you because you're manifesting a limb, right? Physical doesn't require an enchanted hammer. So if he becomes Thor, does he control lightning? Does he have mutant, telepathic powers? If he becomes
seems too much.
Xavier.
That seems too much. And if it was that, then he would be, I think they way underutilized him because he would get kind of, hit and sort of knocked back to standard form or whatever too easily if you can like take on and be any member of the Avengers or X-Men.
You definitely didn't have those powers in the original series.
Right. It's more camouflage.
There is.
What's this?
Okay, he can't replicate energy-based powers.
Okay. So he couldn't like use Cyclops' blasts. But that's why he'd be like Mr. Fantastic and he could stretch his arms.
But
I could get behind that.
So he can manifest their physical abilities. So if you have like super strength, that's a physical ability that you could do, or like, do you know what I mean? Like that's part of your physical makeup, but he can't like gambit his way through like powering up physical objects, or like you said, like Cyclops.
Right. So power mimicry here, it says superhuman strength, if they have it, Omega Red, Sabretooth, superhuman durability, like if you're Colossus, winged flight. Okay. Yep. Superhuman speed. So he was Quicksilver. We saw that. And elasticity. So there's your, I
guess Mr. Sinister gave him an upgrade.
Yeah. Possible. Sometimes something happens in their
I feel like this is like a decent balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no energy, no psychic.
Yeah.
So you don't get telekinesis. Yeah, you don't get incantations. You don't get. Still,
that's fair.
Obviously, very powerful.
Yeah, because then what would be? It would be like Rogue's power, but better. You know what I mean? If he could do all of that.
Rogue could do any though. She can absorb any at a cost.
It would be, but it's at a cost. Like Morph doesn't.
Yeah.
If he could do everything that anybody could do and absorb their powers and not have it come at a cost.
Oh yeah, if he could. If she could.
It's Rogue's power, but better.
Yeah.
So
it's interesting because Rogue demonstrated a cool ability when the doctor refused, and this was a great scene, to deliver the baby under the pretense she was a mutant. And what if she lost control of her powers? Then my life would be at risk. I'm like, no, you're just being racist right now. And I loved that. Yeah. And then Rogue touched him and absorbed his medical ability.
Knowledge.
So she could do that. That made sense. That was consistent with what we'd read in the comics and what we'd seen in media.
Yeah.
But could Morph do that? Is it only physical characteristics?
No, because he'd have the dexterity and whatever else required.
Right.
That's fine, but
you wouldn't know how.
Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't have the years of medical training.
Yep. And so we were talking about that too. Like if you're Mr. Fantastic, obviously he's Mr. Fantastic every day, and he'll be excellent at being bendy.
Yeah.
Well, I guess if Morph needs to train,
but does that make him a rocket scientist?
No, absolutely.
Just makes him bendy.
Yeah. Very flexible.
Mm-hmm.
But still, still cool. Like I'd take it. It'd be fun.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I could talk X-Men for a long time, but we gotta wrap it up. So we should do another X-Men podcast sometime. Just like any week, like I don't know what to talk about. Let's just talk about X-Men. Just whatever. We can always.
Well, John, when's the next season of the X-Men coming out? X-Men 97.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, if it's called X-Men 97.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be X-Men 98. I don't know. I was wondering that too. But supposedly it's coming out next year. There was originally they were talking about it coming out this year. Doesn't sound like that's happening. So next year. I was really hoping it was, because I'd read one thing that was going to be late 2025. It's like, oh yes, again behooves me to wait on these, so my delay to the next season is lesser than everybody else's. But it's going to be 2026.
Stay tuned, true believer.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm nervous about.
Yeah, I mean, can you strike gold like this again? I don't know, but
well, okay. So, I mean, clearly you guys haven't seen what I've seen, which is the director for the first season of X-Men 97 was fired.
No, yes. So
okay,
but apparently he wrote season 2. Yes.
Yep. So, TBD on whether or not they're using it, though.
Well, that's true. They could change it up. That would be horrible, but yeah, potentially horrible.
Was he fired because season 2 sucked?
No, he was fired for allegations of some sort of misconduct. I don't know. I think it was pretty proven. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a while ago that happened. I was like, God, why'd you have to do
something
stupid if that's the case? So
it's so disappointing.
I don't know. I'm not gonna
people do something great, like productive wise and like creatively at their job, and then they're like, hey, but I'm gonna turn around and be a shit person.
Yeah, don't be an asshole.
I don't want to bury the guy because I don't know for sure. I don't remember how it went. I just know that's what was being made claim. So hopefully season 2 is good, and hopefully they got someone else good work in there that can keep it going forevermore or for a while. Yeah. I want to show you guys quickly this fun deck of cards I have from my childhood. Oh man, look right here is we got Gambit.
Cool.
Yes.
Yeah, X-Men playing cards that are
Love
really
it.
nice. Archangel. And then recently got back from my old house. Here is Wolverine, the shampoo bottle.
I was gonna say the shampoo bottle topper. Yeah.
So old school. I love it.
So I think my first Halloween I was Wolverine.
All right.
Okay. All right. Well, Pete, why don't you tell everybody find your works, your
well,
writing?
let me bring in my production assistant, Dylan. Will you come here for a second? She's been listening to X-Men talk all night. Put the blanket down. And she helped with the lighting. And then hold this up there for product placement so all the fans can see. If you're interested in a book that you haven't read already, Vampire Autopsy. What's that? The cover what?
Imagine.
All right. Yes, the color scheme is very similar to John's Cyclops. Well, come here. Hi. All right. This is Dylan.
Logo.
Yeah. You say hi. Get in the camera. Why are you hiding? All right. Yes. Vampire Autopsy by Peter J. Gilbertson, available on Amazon in paperback, digital format, and audio books. So if you're looking for an audio book, going on a road trip this summer.
What?
Amazon contacted me and me only and said, Peter J. Gilbertson, we have an opportunity for you. Your books are so much fun. We would love to have our AI robots read them to people. So it did. Yeah. So you can buy an audio copy read by the latest AI. Skynet is taking over. So rather than paying an actual person a wage to breathlessly read my words, we can just have a robot do it. And
cool.
Instead. So
fun.
We just talked about how X-Men had a great voice cast, and then at the end of this podcast, I say their jobs are being taken by robots. They'll soon have AI writing scary stories, so we'll all be out of a job. But that's another podcast.
The Sentinels are here.
They are.
Very good. All right, excellent. Yes, everybody go check that out. Peter J. Gilbertson. And then with our stuff, just make sure you like, share, subscribe in all the applicable places, podcast directories, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. We're on YouTube, Twitch, X, all that sort of thing.
I know, I should have the Matt finish.
Killing the Flower, you should check them out for our themes. They wrote our theme song. They're on music streaming services. So take a look-see there. And otherwise, we'll probably be back next week with, I'm guessing, an anime episode. Finally, we're about to be getting a onslaught of different anime that's coming back. Kaiju number 8, Don to Don season 2. All that stuff is starting up very soon. So shortly, within a couple weeks. So we'll be back on that stuff for sure. But and then on this podcast, I don't know. Stay tuned in case we just jump on and talk more X-Men sometime. I'll be going probably to F1 movie at some point. And if you guys see 28 years later, we can talk about that too. So
it's a possibility. I am interested, so I'll let you know.
Same.
Perfect. All right. Thank you, everybody. Andrea, Pete, thanks for joining me, and we'll see everybody next time.
Our pleasure. Thank you.
Of course. Cheers, everybody.
Hey, Chris.